beautiful night out here in the dark. I have a question. How does insurance company get to dictate, lie, connive, cheat, bully, and not be responsible for the care that you pay for? And we could talk about home insurance, car insurance, or any other medical insurance. But at the end of the day, they control everything. Your premiums go up. When you don't, nothing wrong. They do something wrong, your premiums still go up, and there's no consequences for them. I like to talk about health insurance primarily this time, especially United Health. I want to state a fact. I feel really bad for the family of the CEO that was murdered. There is no place for violence in this world. But on the other hand, when these companies such as United Health and some of the subsidiaries of them and other insurance companies can control pretty much 99% of what your doctor can do or not do, the medicines you can take or not take, why do we even see a doctor? Shouldn't we just go to the insurance company and say, hey, I have an infection, would you prescribe me a medication? Because the doctors have to get prescriptions what the insurance companies say. And have you ever asked the people on the other side of that phone when you talk to them what medical degree they have? Kind of scary. I would say 90% or better have no medical degree. I've been told on numerous accounts from United Health that you have to try other things, even though I have. Or, even better yet, it's a cheaper drug. You just have to deal with it. Or, when they screw up, they ask, can you go without that for a while? 97 days I went without insulin because of the insurance company. Thank you, United Health. And they kept making mistakes. In order to get it, had to go to the emergency room numerous times a day at times. Bought it off of the streets because of the cost of it. At the time, it was about $1,000 a month or better. So, explain this. Why are they not responsible? At the end of the day, what they tell you is, oh, we're sorry. Nothing we can do about it now. We need to move forward. Had about $80,000 worth of bills they didn't pay because of it. Just recently, I went back to United Health, unfortunately, because of my wife's employment and her insurance. The first 4 times I called, they lied to me. I've asked to talk to supervisors, and they weren't in. They leave at the end of the day. They had every excuse in the book not to get me one. And that was the option care part of United Health. working hand to hand. Co-conspirators and screwing you over. Numerous times I asked them to review calls. They didn't do it. One time, one of the representatives actually said they lost all the calls. Imagine that. In the last about 4 months, I can count at least 20 lies I've been told, such as, we don't have supervisors. Imagine that. Or, we can't do that, to find out later they could. And at least 14 times I was supposed to receive a call back from a supervisor, and it did not happen. And that was all in about 3.5 to 4 months. Then they called my wife's employer and said, or they told me that they released videos to them, which they told me that had to be subpoenaed, but they voluntarily gave them to the employer. HIPAA violation, because it had medical stuff on there. That I made threats. And it was awful funny when I said, well, let me listen to them. And then they said, they kind of stuttered, stammered. And they backed off and says, well, you just had kind of a threatening tone to your voice. I said, what am I supposed to do when they lie? When they deny? When they don't follow the rules of their own contract? Now, numerous times I asked them if they don't follow their contract and give me the benefits that I am allocated to, why do they get away with that? But if I didn't pay my premiums, boy, I wouldn't have insurance. I've asked them that. And they said, well, absolutely you wouldn't have insurance. But they can deny, and not have a reason. But if you don't pay, then you don't have insurance. Ain't that, in my book, a form of bullying? Kind of an oxymoron. In a lot of these cases, just morons. Or most of all, is about ultimate profit, no matter what happens to the person on the other end. I've asked numerous times for supervisors, that didn't happen. Managers, that didn't happen. And they told my wife's workplace, because I was questioning them too much, because they lied, didn't follow the policy and whatnot, that they might just stop taking my phone calls, even though I'm paying for insurance. And the lady at HR that handles the insurance, I'll just put it real nicely, ripped into me. So, we'll go back to the insulin situation. That happened many years ago. 97 days, 36 grievances, and I could not get my insulin, and about $80,000 worth of medical bills I got stuck with. Now, I don't know about you. I don't have $80,000 laying around. Being a diabetic all my life, due to radiation damage, to chemo as an infant back in the early 70s. I take my diabetes very seriously and control it very seriously, but without diabetic supplies, how do you control your blood sugar? Or even worse, how do you control your blood sugar with no insulin? But they lumped all those grievances into one, and after I got my insulin, they returned it as one grievance. 36 of them logged in to one grievance and said problem solved. And when I questioned them, all I could be told was sorry and you need to move forward. I guess, can someone explain to me how that works? Now, as I was saying earlier, I don't believe in violence. So the person that killed the CEO of United Health, very unfortunate thing, especially for the guy's family and whatnot. And I got publicity and all this other stuff. But ain't United Health Care not any better when they deny people life-saving medicine because of their mess-ups, because of their lies, because we want you to take a cheaper drug when maybe you've already taken them? Or maybe they just don't care, and that's how they can save money. Now, one is definitely murder, but ain't the other one neglect leading to murder? I don't know. Good question. But all I know is, being a little guy on this end with outrageous medical cost, in the last 4 years, my wife and I have spent 40%, or excuse me, I screwed that up, 60% our gross income on medical, and still in debt, thousands of dollars. And we have good insurance, supposedly. How does that work out? I want to ask anybody out there, could you live off only 40% of your gross income to pay rent, to eat, buy clothes, whatever? And the other thing is, try to talk to my senators in the House of Representatives at no, success, and my governor, because they look at gross income. Medical necessities is not a necessity, even if it keeps you alive. So say I earn, let's make it easy, $5,000 a month. And at 60%, that would leave me about $2,000 a month for my wife and I to live on. The average rent in our community is $1,000 or better. That's not transportation to get to work. That's not dental bills if you need it, or food or cell phone that you need for work, or any other items. So how are you supposed to live off of that? My wife and I are both fully employed, work quite a bit of overtime, work second jobs. But because we work, we can't get help. And because of my vast medical bills, and I'll put it to you this way, in a nice way. Cancer, 53 years ago, and 3 other times since. 41 surgeries, 6 strokes, I am supposed to have another surgery, but because of the situation I'm in, I can't have it because I have mesh sticking out of my stomach, or about ready to stick out of my stomach. I cannot get the medical care that I need. Can't see the specialist. And people think it's all right. If my wife and I would quit our jobs, we could get on welfare, Medicaid, and we'd be better off. But because we grew up in a hardworking families, we keep trying. But at what point my life is in jeopardy now because of it? Do I say screw it and go on welfare? We have all these MAGA people bitching that people want to stay at home and do nothing. Well, here you go. This is why some people do that. I feel until medical cost can be under control in the United States, because we spend almost double of any country on medical. There's many, many more people like me out there that struggle, might be desperate, like the guy that murdered the United Healthcare CEO. And please, people, don't ever kill anybody. We forget what effects it has on their kids, their families. Even though they might be a piece of shit, and I'm not saying the guy was, but life is precious. What I say, try to make a difference. Take a minute sometime and look around and see maybe someone struggling or something, and just talk to them. Make their day. Don't be like the rejects that have to put people down, bully, disrespect, harm, and whatnot, aka insurance companies, aka a lot of our politicians, and many other people in this world. So, at the end of the day, be good people. Encourage your senators and whatnot to hold insurance companies, especially health insurance when it's life and death, accountable until the people start doing that. It's only going to get worse. They control everything. My other question is, they have so much money they can pay their CEOs thousands and thousands and thousands of bonuses and high wages. And when was the last time you saw an insurance building that was 10 or 12 years old? Seems like they build them faster than anything. I don't know. It's kind of like a Ponzi scheme on the poor and the middle class. As long as you can screw them over, it don't matter. So anyhow, have a great day. Signing out. Till next time, do the ethical, right thing. Be a good human being. And don't hide behind the crooked people. And most of all, stand up for the right things. Not for power and control, but peace, love, and most of all, humanity in life.